Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Danielle and today I have two easy dump and go, low carb, keto friendly crock pot meals. They are going to consist of both beef recipes. So if you guys were wondering, you had like a stockpile of some beef in your deep freeze and you're like, hey, what can I do with this that's easy and I could just throw it in there and continue on with my day, I got you. So both recipes are going to be very easy. Like I said, dump and go. The first one is going to be pretty clean. The second one is going to be a little bit more on the dirty side, but there are options to clean it up if you do so wish. So without further ado, let's jump into the video. All right, our first crock pot. These two crock pot meals are going to be both with beef. I know a lot of you guys have wanted something just kind of based around a certain group. So these two are both going to be done with beef. So that's one. And two, they are all going to be dump and go crock pot meals, okay? We are really busy right now. We are back in the full swing of basement renovation, just kind of trying to get things done while we can. My dad's helping out, so I kind of have to do it, you know, when he has the time. So I decided to just do these crock pot meals because it's easy. I don't have to worry about dinner and I like to feed my dad when he comes to help, you know? So our first meal is going to be a peppered steak, okay? So you're gonna need whatever meat. This is a flat iron chuck steak, and you can get like a sirloin steak, whatever, have it chopped. I got it like this because it was on sale. So I'm gonna chop this up. This is about 2.5 pounds. I'm actually gonna do like a double recipe because we are gonna be feeding my dad as well. So I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna chop that up. You're gonna want an onion, a green pepper. You could do 2 green peppers, but I'm only gonna do 1 because I'm the only one who likes green peppers. I have 2 containers of mushrooms. You're gonna need some garlic, or I'm sorry, this is ginger. You can get the root and ground it yourself. I just got this one. You need some garlic, some liquid aminos, and it does call for soy sauce, but we're gonna go ahead and opt out of that because it has a lot of sugar and stuff like that. So we're gonna make this a like keto low carb friendly version. And you're gonna want some sesame seed oil or sesame oil, okay? You could also add in red pepper flakes, but we do not have those. So first things first is we're going to chop up this roast here, if I can find a knife. I'm gonna use this one, and we're gonna chop it, chop. So I am going through and chopping this meat into strips because, you know, peppered steak is usually in strips, and then you serve it over rice, which we will do a cauliflower rice. You could eat it on its own if you didn't want to have. I know some people are like, Danielle, look, I'm tired of cauliflower rice. You could skip it, or you could do, I know like some of the like miracle noodles and stuff come in rice form. You know what I mean? Like in the rice, like rice form. I don't know what the hell to call it. But yeah, so you're just gonna go through, cut this all up. Be careful, make sure you have washed hands as always, and get this ready. It might be a little bit tough, but remember, this is going to slow cook, so it will help the meat get nice and tender as well. So I wanted to show you guys that. I'm gonna finish cutting up. I am gonna go through, make sure that if you're using the same cutting board like I am, you go through and you give it a good wash after cutting up that meat. Gonna go through and I'm going to cut up this, I'm gonna cut up this green pepper. Again, you could add 2, but I am the only one who eats them. So I have a little bag right here, as I use as a garbage, like a little G bowl, like what is Rachel Ray call them? A little garbage bowl. Cutting these in strips as well. If this was something you were gonna put on before work the night before, I do suggest just going ahead and prepping all this stuff the night before. I know that a lot of stores offer like pre-chopped veggies, so you can use that as an option too if you wanted to spend a little bit more money. For me, it's really not worth it, so. Okay, we have that. We're coming along. I'm gonna take my onion. I'm gonna cut this in strips as well. I'm just using a white onion. You can use whatever color, you know, makes your heart beat. So here's what I want to ask you guys as we're chopping it up and having some girl time, friend time, whatever. Have you guys watched the new Netflix movie, Rebecca? So, fun fact, I'm really excited for that movie. I'm actually going to probably watch it tonight. I named my daughter after that book. It was a book that I read. We just cut these into strips as well, tossing these into our crock pot. I read that book in high school, and it was one of my favorite books. It's kind of like an American classic, and suspenseful, and I loved it. So I always thought that name was like super classy after that. So when we were deciding on a name for my youngest, I originally wanted Aria for Rebecca, and I remembered I had seen that book at a bookstore, and I'm like, what do you think about Rebecca? And he's like, I like it. So that's where it came from. So nonetheless, that's how we came up with it. I have these 2 things of mushrooms. I'm gonna go ahead and rinse them, and then I'm also dump them into the crock pot. So here is where the magic happens. We're gonna make a sauce to go over, like a marinade to go over our meat veggie mixture. We're gonna go in with those liquid aminos. If you guys wanted to use soy sauce, you could, but if you're low carb, I really suggest the liquid aminos. These are the Bragg's liquid aminos, okay? So actually, since we're doubling it, we're gonna do 6, I'm sorry. But if you're only doing 1 serving, which is about 1 pound, but that's not enough for the clumps over here we like to eat. So 6 tablespoons, that's 4, 5, and 6. And spilled some of that on my thing. And then we are going to add 2 tablespoons of sesame oil. You could generally find this in like the ethnic like food aisle where they have like Asian dishes. So we're gonna do 2 tablespoons. This stuff is really, really thick, but it gives a really good flavor. So don't be scared of it. So 1. And it's cheap too. All these ingredients aren't hella expensive. I hate when people make recipes and it's like $75 in ingredients. We don't get down like that. We're gonna add in probably about 1 tablespoon of garlic. You know, you could do the fresh cloves, but we're out. So that's what we're gonna use. And then we're gonna do 2 teaspoons of this ginger, okay? Be careful with ginger. Ginger can get away with you. That's why I opt for the, like this paste of ginger, just because I've messed with ginger before and it can mess you up. It can mess you up if you go overboard. So we're gonna do 2 teaspoons of that. And 2. Okay. And this is where you would also add in that red pepper flake. And then we're gonna take our fork here and we're just gonna mix. Here is that mixture. We're just gonna mix it up. Make sure that the ginger isn't clumpy. All that jazz. We got that, we're good. So we're gonna take our mix here. And here's our big crock pot. My crock pot's on a cutting board just because I'm afraid of burning up my countertop. So that's why I do that. But you're just going to spread it. All right, put that right there. And then what I do is I will just take like a spatula or a spoon or something and just make sure everything is mixed up and everything gets a nice coat of all that, okay? The meat is going to give off its own flavor. I am going to hit this with some black pepper before we put the lid on. But look at that. Tons of fresh veggies. A nice, good source of protein in here with the beef. And I don't know, I really like this. And plus it's super easy because we all love Dump and Go crock pot meals. So yeah, again, I'm just going to hit this with a little black pepper and toss the lid on for, 7 hours. So I put it on high and just leave it alone. then just look, I love that. I love that we're getting all these good veggies in. You got that amino acid, so that's helping you too. That's really good for muscle recovery, which we all need. And it's like a family favorite. So all you gotta do now is throw the sucker on high for 6-7 hours, and honey, dinner is already in the oven and ready to go. All right, so here is the peppered steak. Okay, I'm gonna show you here. I'm just gonna take the lid off. And look at that, so good. And it was really, really easy. You see, it made all this gravy with it as well. That's just from the mushrooms and the meat and stuff like that. So what we're going to serve it with is some cauliflower rice. I'm going to go ahead and just throw this in the microwave for like 5 or 6 minutes. If you wanted to do white rice, you can do that as well, or you could serve it by itself and not have any. But I'm going to go ahead and heat this up, and then we'll be right back. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and serve up our plate. So basically what I have right here is just a serving of cauliflower rice, and you're going to top your meat vegetable mixture over it, and then put some of that gravy on there, and that's it, my friends. So here is our dump and go peppered steak. Super easy. I'm going to add just a little bit of salt to mine, but this meat is like pure butter. It has a great flavor. Like I said, I'm going to add a little bit of salt just because I like mine to have a little bit more salt, but so good, so easy, and low carb friendly. So if you wanted to, and if your family did not like cauliflower rice, you could just make a white rice on the side from them. It'd be real simple. Or like I said, you could serve it just alone, but it is delicious, and you can definitely have this for leftovers. So there you go. Good morning. We are on to another dump and go crock pot meal using some form of beef. Okay, so the theme here is beef and dump and go. This recipe is going to be a little bit more on the dirtier keto side, or like dirtier ingredients, but if you wanted to go ahead and make some substitutions, you can. So first thing we're going to go in with is this beef chuck pot roast. If you guys wanted to use chopped up stew meat, you can use that as well, but this is what I had, so I wanted to use what I had. This is just a boneless chuck roast from Costco. I am going to go through and I'm going to chop this up. It's still a little bit frozen because we pulled it out last night, but it'll be a-okay. So that's going to be our protein. I have some mushrooms right here. This is like 2 containers of cleaned sliced mushroom. So we're going to add that. This is the Lipton's like onion soup mix. We're using 2 packets because we're doubling the recipe. And yeah, so if you did want to make your own onion soup mix seasoning cleaner and make it like homemade, you can do that as well. I've done that before, but for the sake of this video and for like a dump and go recipe, we're going to use this. Again, we're doubling the recipe, so we're going to use 2 packets. The reason why I'm making so much is we have my dad coming over today, and then my in-laws are coming over today to help us with the basement, so it's going to be quite a bit of people we're feeding. Okay, so we're going to use 2 packs of that. We're starting this rather early. It's about 7:45, so I can feed everybody around 3-4 o'clock. And then we're going in with 2 cans of cream and mushroom soup. That's initially what we're going to dump in the crock pot. And then right before we are done, we are going to add in a whole brick of Philadelphia cream cheese, but we're going to make sure that this cream cheese has been sat out and it's at room temperature, and 1 cup of sour cream. I'm using Daisy sour cream. But I'm going to go through first, and we are going to chop up this stew, or this chuck roast, okay? And then I'll show you what we're gonna do. All right, so I just kind of want to show you guys how I'm doing this, chopping this meat up. I'm just gonna go through and chop it into chunks. So the reason why we opted for this was, 1, this is what we had in our deep freeze, so we did not have to make a purchase. I always try to make my recipes accordingly to what I have, just to save money. And Leo suggested to use this chuck roast because it will give off more flavor. So, you know, that's never a bad thing. And honestly, these chuck roasts are pretty affordable at Costco. Again, this is not defrosted all the way through, but I like for it to be like this a little bit when it comes to cutting because it's easier. So we're gonna go through, we're gonna chop up everything and we're gonna place it inside our crock pot. But again, I know this is going to be a dirtier version of a recipe. If you guys wanted to make your soup homemade and use that as opposed to like a canned version, you could. It would be less carbs, it would be cleaner. And if you wanted to add in and make your own onion soup mix and make it homemade, it would also be cleaner. But again, for the sake of this video, for it being a dump and go, you will go ahead and just use everything store-bought. But you know, there's always, where there's a will, there's a way. So I know a lot of you guys prefer the cleaner version. You can do that as well. So I have 2 cans of cream of mushroom soup. You can use cream of chicken, cream of potato, whatever. You're just gonna dump that in. This is just an off-brand one I have. We're gonna dump that. And then we are going to take our 2 packs of Lipton soup mix. And then I'm gonna mix this first because this is pretty well stocked, or like full. All right, so here that is. You're just gonna make sure everything is mixed up. All right, so here is everything all mixed up. We're just gonna toss in the mushrooms on top. The mushrooms, remember, are gonna give off some water. And just gonna make sure everything's in there. Put your lid on. I'm gonna put mine on medium heat for about 6 hours and start that. And then I'll see you back here when this is about, you know, about done, and then we will add in the cream cheese and sour cream and a little bit of seasoning. But this is it. This is all you have to do for right now. So it's not even 8 o'clock and dinner is already started. So we are looking really good right now. Okay, so we have about 35-40 minutes left on our food here. And we're just gonna take a peek. It smells so good. And it's great too because we've been so busy downstairs and the crock pot's been going and I'm like, oh, one less worry. We got a good meal. That's like what I love most about crock pots, is that you just toss it in and then let it go. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to add an 8-ounce brick of cream cheese. I went ahead and just diced mine up. And then we're going to add in 1 cup of, this is sour cream, okay? So you're going to, I'm just gonna pick these up like so and toss them in. And then we're gonna season it up as well, but I will say this, we're gonna see how the gravy looks, and if I feel that it's too thin and watery, we will add some xanthan gum just to thicken it up, okay? And then we're gonna add in our sour cream. This is Daisy sour cream. I just measured it out. So just go through and we're just gonna mix it up. Sorry, they're still working downstairs, so if you hear that noise, that's just home improvements. So, but I wanted to come up here and get this going still. So I will re-lid this. I am pretty sure we're gonna have to use some xanthan gum on here, okay? We'll get that out real quick. But I am going to season it up with a couple dashes of some fresh, or it's not fresh thyme, just some thyme. And I'm gonna season it with some black pepper as well. I am not gonna add any salt. I'll let people salt to taste, just because we added that onion soup mix and that is like kind of salty and I don't wanna ruin the meal. So I'm gonna add some fresh cracked pepper and some thyme, and I'm gonna like just give it a couple more stirs, and I'm gonna look at the consistency. All right, so here is everything mixed in. We got the cream cheese, the sour cream, the fresh cracked pepper, and some thyme, okay? And I'm just going through and mixing it. Not everything is gonna be fully melted just yet, but we're gonna give it just a couple stirs. And then I have, this is the Bob's Red Mill Xanthan Gum. I've never used this brand before. This is the first time, but I have a half a tablespoon of xanthan gum in here, and I'm just going to sprinkle it just so we can thicken. If we have to add more, we'll add more, but I just go little by little. So here is our beef stroganoff. You can see it's nice and creamy, and it's nice and thick as well. So that half a tablespoon of that particular xanthan gum worked out really well. I didn't add any more, but it's not like watery, but it's not like, it's like sticky. You know what I mean? You don't want it to be like clumpy because that's gross. So again, I probably went in with about, I would say a little less than a tablespoon of thyme, a ton of black pepper, and then a little bit of salt because I felt like ours needed it, okay? So that is that. It's ready to go. It's just sitting on warm. For the kids, I'm gonna make them these egg white, the egg white noodles. The egg noodles, I don't know if you guys ever had these. I'm gonna make these for them, and that's what they're gonna have their pasta on. And then for myself, I'm gonna use these healthy noodles. These are the ones from Costco. Sugar-free, fat-free, gluten-free, cholesterol-free. People always ask what they are. They do contain soy, so soybean fiber, powder, cellulose, sodium, alginate, konjac powder, calcium, and chloride and salt. So that's that. So yeah, I'm gonna making these, and then I'll set up the kids. Sorry, the kids are coloring. I'm gonna set the kids up a bowl, and I will show you what it looks like. But I tried this, as you can see, there's my little spoon. It is so good, like perfect for the colder weather. Okay, my friends, here is our beef stroganoff. Again, I use the egg noodles. This is my kids' plate. That's why it's on the smaller plate. But if you wanted to use, like for myself, I'm going to use those healthy noodles. So you still get the like home cooked comfort meal. And then I obviously got these. These egg noodles are like $1. So the kids like them, and this makes me feel like I'm at home with my mama. But it is hot. But oh, this stuff right here, oh, so freaking good. It is just, it makes you dance. Bands to make you dance for sure. But super easy, dump and go. I was able to work on that basement and had everything done, and I'm able to feed a army. This is definitely going to be leftovers, and I'm going to actually send some home to my mom and my dad too, so they could have it for leftovers as well. So we take care of our workers around here. All right, my friends, so we are wrapping up this video. We are sitting down to eat this delicious beef stroganoff. Both recipes were amazing. Everybody loved them. Everybody recommends them. So good. I made them both to where you could serve it to family who is non-low carb or keto, and just for a few bucks, not even maybe $1 more, if you wanted to do mashed potatoes instead of cauliflower or rice or whatever, you can do that. And if you wanted to do like an egg noodle like I did, or if you wanted to do a low carb noodle version. So there is something here for everyone. No one is excluded. Everybody is eating good. Most importantly, it's easy, and it's comfort food. It's a good comfort food for your soul. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this recipe. If you guys like these like crock pot meals, let me know. If maybe you want to do an Instapot or an air fryer, we can do something along those lines as well. So let me know down below. If you guys are new here, I would love for you to stick around and subscribe. We do this keto low carb thing quite a few times a week, and then we throw in a bunch of videos because it's a good place to be. We're real friends around here, and everybody's welcome. So all right, I'm out of here. Let's go eat dinner. I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy, friends.